Hello and welcome. My name is Ollie, this is Economics Unlocked, and today we're going to be taking a look at universal basic income. Now, UBI has many names, but it is essentially the idea that society could fund a small guaranteed income to everyone in the country, enough to cover basic needs like food and shelter. It'd be universal, so absolutely everyone would get the money, and with no strings attached from the government. It's described as basic because the intention is just to cover the things that every person needs in life, and the payment would be made in cash transfers paid directly to people's bank accounts. It's seen as quite a radical policy, but because there are so many different ways it could be carried out, UBI is supported on both the right and the left. First up, right-wing economists believe it could give people greater freedom, because people would no longer have to worry about the basics in life. This means people can concentrate on the things that really matter, and they will be free to make better life choices, because nobody would be living hand to mouth anymore. In this way, UBI could help make free markets more free. Furthermore, people suggest that if UBI was used to replace means-tested benefits, such as unemployment payments or job seekers allowance, then it could give people more ambition. In most developed countries, if you don't have a job, the government will pay you some money to live off. But if you begin working again, that money starts to be withdrawn. So under our current system, there's a significantly reduced incentive for people without a job to get one, compared to those already working. Supporters of UBI say that the current benefit system can trap people in poverty, and in some cases it simply may not be in a person's interest to get a job. Economists suggest that if UBI was used to replace means-tested benefits, then it could bring significant improvements to the labour market. It's possible that the invisible hand, which allocates people to jobs, would work better with a UBI, because everyone would have exactly the same incentives all of the time. Some people would take it even further. Economist Milton Friedman suggested that you could provide a really sizable UBI, but remove other government welfare services as well, such as healthcare and education. This way, nobody would be any better or worse off, because people would have to use the UBI to pay for these essential services. The difference is that people would have more choice over these services, because there would be a free market instead of the government monopolies we have at the moment. This idea would completely strip back the modern functions of government, and it highlights the fact that UBI doesn't mean the same to everyone, although Friedman's idea is a very extreme example. In reality, UBI is just a tool. It's what you do to fund UBI that shapes what effects it has on the economy. We can see that with the more left-wing approach. The problem with completely removing benefits is that it would make a lot of people on benefits much poorer overnight. These are often the most vulnerable people in society, and the short-term shock could destroy people's lives. So, many people support UBI as a complement to our current benefits. This type of UBI is often a bit smaller. British economist Guy Standing supports such a scheme and recently wrote a report to the UK's Labour Party suggesting a UBI of £48 a week. That's about £2,500 a year. When we spoke to him, Standing wanted a UBI as a right. He sees UBI as a way of ending the stress and suffering that many poorer people have to go through. Standing believes that a UBI could revolutionise our society by ensuring no one ever has to worry, even in the short term, about the basic life necessities. So for many on the left wing, the attraction to UBI is that it would put an end to that kind of suffering in your country instantly. And because everyone gets it, it doesn't treat anyone unfairly or miss anyone out. A safety net without any holes in. So how do people say we can fund it? For this type of approach, the UBI is often funded by raising taxes, aimed at redistributing wealth and reducing inequality. Our research found that in the UK, a UBI of a little over £3,000 a year could be funded by a 3% rise in income tax. But many people suggest using corporate taxes or creating new wealth taxes. Lastly then, this is all very well, but many UBI plans have some big flaws in it. The first problem with UBI is the opportunity cost. Whether you fund it by removing other services or increasing taxes, the cost is massive, and that money could always be spent on other things such as education, healthcare or infrastructure projects, all of which could bring more value to society than a UBI. Now supporters of UBI might tell you that the costs can be reduced by having a smaller UBI, but then you lose many of the benefits and you have to wonder if implementing a small UBI is really worth it. In short, people opposed to UBI say that an adequate UBI would be unaffordable and an affordable UBI would be inadequate. Another issue is that because there's been so little testing, the effects of UBI are unknown. While some versions claim to boost ambition, many wonder if paying people a small income might remove their drive. If you cover people's basic needs, they might not want anything else, and may well be happy to live off the payments for their whole life. If this happened, UBI could flop massively. Despite some of these issues, UBI is being considered as a solution by many countries. In Finland, a trial found that it made people happier and healthier, with little impact on their employment status. Although this was a short trial, it didn't test in local communities. Instead, it tested individuals dotted around a society which for the most part was not on the UBI scheme. In India, they tested UBI in a selection of more isolated local communities, and found that it made people more productive, increased food security, and significantly reduced alcohol consumption. Supporters say that this scheme dispelled some of the criticisms that UBI would make people lazy, or that people would simply spend the money on the wrong things, as it showed the complete opposite effects.
Currently, there are a number of trials going on around the world, and if you'd like more details in those, then let me know in the comments below. If you want my opinion, I think a UBI can make our labour market more dynamic and responsive. I think initially it could be funded by income and wealth taxes, but over time, means-tested benefits could be phased out, and the result would be a labour market which acts as if there's no government intervention at all, but which operates a few grand above absolute zero. That's it for this one, guys. If you're confused by anything at all, you can watch the video again, drop me a question in the comments, but otherwise, any opinions or suggestions are welcome down below, but please subscribe to the channel, hit that like button. Thank you very much for watching, have a wonderful day.